Hasting away, Tony. Are you ready?
Yeah, I
Tangerine.
am. I am more than ready.
How many games am I talking about today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Nine?
7, 8, 9 games we're going to be talking about today. Basically, what happened is I said to Tony like a few months ago, I was like,
Yeah.
oh man, I'm playing this really long game, and then, good time to get our Tangerines back on schedule. And then I played like 50 games, and I was like, oh shit, we got to record some Tangerines. But this is.
Yeah, I've been busy as well. It's not great timing.
Well, you've made a big purchase in your life. I don't know if you want to go into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is Haste. So I've talked about this on the channel before, on the podcast and on Tangerine, because it was on Steam Next Fest. And this is one of my ones to watch, because just moving around in this game is so fucking fun. It's essentially a speed running roguelike game where you're basically being chased by a giant wall and you have to keep running and get to the end before the wall gets you. So it's all about like maintaining your speed. And you do this by making perfect landings. So when you land, you don't want to abrupt stop. You want to hit like a surface smoothly. I can show you the tutorial footage because I have the tutorial, so it's probably easy to explain.
So it is kind of like one of the many skateboarding things was like playing how you land, like hence how you keep momentum, but instead of falling off, you. I assume you don't fall off anything because it's just you, right?
Yeah. You're just running.
Yeah.
You do have
But if you land in this bit where you keep your momentum more efficiently.
You keep your momentum, but you won't see this in the tutorial. You build up a boost bar, and your boost bar allows you to use your ability. So your based ability will be your hoverboard, which is kind of like a skateboard. And this will let you just get like a massive burst of speed whenever you want it, sort of thing.
Wasn't this game where you're saying like, oh, I wish I could do tricks in the air to increase the boost?
Yeah, I was like, I think that's more early game that I was like, I wish I had more tricks I could do while I'm waiting. But then you get to a point where you start going really fast, and you're like, okay, like so this is showing you like how the landing works. Like you want to try and land at specific spots. So you basically want to hit a slope as you go down, right? To because you basically press down on the space bar to force yourself to fall faster. So you're constantly just trying. Imagine it's almost like gliding, where you're trying to like hit down and then go back up, sort of thing, right?
Yep. Yeah.
You're just trying to maintain your momentum. Yeah. But like the main like story, like there is a story in this game, by the way. I read it for like 5 minutes, and then I was immediately like, I'm just skipping all the story. I fucking watched the entire story of Neon White, and that game is held back by its story, and I was like, I'm not doing this again. This is a fucking game. This is a gameplay game, and I'm just gonna play the game. So the one thing I didn't like about the tutorial is technically I made a perfect drop there, but it's like, no, you didn't land where we wanted you to land in the tutorial, even though that is technically correct.
Oh, okay, that's a bit odd. I'm just said like landing in this like big area and go, this is fine.
I don't know what the fuck's there's some sort of anomaly shit going on. It's the story is so inconsequential to the actual gameplay. It's like one thing I'll say
away from the anomaly.
Yeah, I guess, and it opens new anomalies you have to run through for some reason. To me, this game very much feels like a more polished up tech demo. Like because I would always look at this game on Twitter. It's from the Landfall guys, and I'm a big fan of their other movement game, Cluster Truck. Cluster Truck is a platformer where the platformers are moving trucks. It's a very fun game. I think it's Wilhelm Nil. I can't remember his name, but yeah, I followed him on Twitter because I love seeing his devlogs, and every time I watch somebody play this game, I would be like in awe, being like, you know when you're on like I was gonna say, Tony, when you're on TikTok, and I also don't use TikTok, but I like. My friend will send me an Instagram reel, and it's somebody talking, but at the bottom there's somebody doing like stunt jumps on GTA 5 in a car, and I'm watching the bottom, and I'm just
no,
like, oh man, or like some of my favorites.
I know what you're talking about, but I never see that myself.
Some of my favorites are like people doing like insane rocket boost challenges in Rocket League. That stuff is just so satisfying to watch. It's one of those guys. Like I streamed this on Discord, and my friends were like, "It looks like you're playing Subway Surfer," and I'm like, "It's not anything like Subway Surfer in terms of like the gameplay, but it is sort of like that vibe of just endlessly." Because there is an endless mode, which I was finding myself enjoying a lot more than the actual base game, because the base game is set up like a roguelike.
No story.
It sort of reminds me of Descenders, if you remember, like the cycling game, where you basically go through these map levels, and if you take damage, you take like if you fall off the map or you fall off your bike, you take damage, and you have like a life meter, and then you get upgrades to be like, okay, I need to heal, or I'm going to take a harder challenge to get a better reward, sort of thing, right? It gives me extra retries, and they'll give you like challenges to try and get you to put yourself in more danger, but it's like risk reward, right?
Yeah. So that's how the endless mode for this works. Then it's very much.
Well, this is how the roguelike mode works in this, like the actual gameplay. There's like
sure. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, sorry.
I think there's like 8 or 9, 10 shards, something like that.
Right.
And basically the way you get upgrades is usually you'll get one at the end of a hard challenge, or if you can see here, I'm collecting these things called sparks, which are these like little white crystal things, and these sparks are basically like your currency. So this is what you spend on the upgrades, because you saw like I had a map there. It was almost like Slay the Spire, where it's like you can choose the path you want to go on. So it's like, oh, I have a bunch of money, I want to go to a shop so I can spend now, sort of thing.
Yeah. So it's the rings. Actually, wait, does Sonic spend? I was gonna say it's like Sonic's rings, but I don't actually understand Sonic's rings at all, so I probably shouldn't.
You can ring dash in Sonic, where you can like
ring dash.
Yeah, like you can like force Sonic to just dash through all the rings at once, and it's like a moving thing. There is an item kind of like that in this game as well, which will let you like dash through the like star bit things you pick up, which I was like, oh, that's interesting. This is very much like, it kind of does remind me of like a 3D Sonic game in a lot of ways. Like it's that feeling of momentum, or like the direction I would like a new 3D Sonic game to go in, where it's just like it's more just about the momentum of moving than it is like
the story of the combat.
Yeah,
I guess it's still the weird.
Yeah, there's no combat. I think combat really drags Sonic games back a lot of the time as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you really care, like I feel like I don't know, like in my head I'm like, oh, surely you can do maybe like boss. I guess boss combat in Sonic is fine, but like other like make it more like all combat like that, because like you never lose momentum.
Because I felt that same way with Demon Turf. You remember like that platformer I was playing, and there was the new one in the next fest. This game does have combat at the very end at like the boss stages, and I think like the boss stuff is some of the worst stuff about this game. It's just not interesting, and it just feels like they were like, oh shit, we have to add a way to end this sort of thing. Like it feels very much like they tried to polish up a tech demo, and it doesn't like always feel like a full game. Like there's stuff I love about this game, and there's stuff I really don't like. I have very like mixed opinions on this game. Because you know, with Descenders, I was like, I don't actually like playing the roguelike mode. I just like going into the map and just driving around.
Yeah,
So with this one, like the most fun I had was in like the end of. I can show you a boss fight actually before I go off this, and show you like.
Oh yeah.
I think I have
actually bosses though.
Yeah. Oh no, sorry, I can't on this one. There was a bug where if you take that item, it breaks the game. They fixed it, but this was me playing very early on. But I have completed several shards, and I think I showed like boss gameplay in the Steam Next Fest stuff if you want to look at that. But you essentially just run across the map, and there'll be like a giant robot, and you'll just like charge into him. There's like basically 3 variations of bosses, and they're all just like copy pasted from the other. So there's one where you just have to run into a robot several times. There's one where there's like a giant truck that you have to get into and then run into the heart of it, and then you get bopped out and you have to run into it again. And then there's like a giant snake that you have to chase, and there's just all the shards are the same variations of those.
So still movement based, still.
Yeah, still movement based.
It's not like you're slopping shooting and then like.
No, you basically, it's just a way to get you to run towards something. Like that was the idea behind the portals, I think, just to be like, hey, we'll put something at the end for you to aim towards, sort of thing. But yeah, I think like the most, like I was just sat and I played endless mode. How long is this? Like for an hour. I was on Discord and I was just zoned out. I was just like, yeah, I just want to.
Oh, really?
I gotta go fast.
That much.
Oh, like when this game hits and you get into like that TikTok, GTA 5 driving video mode, you're just like, I'm just completely zoned out. That's what I love about like these movement games where you can just be like. Because I will load up GTA 5 a lot of the time, and I'll just drive around. I don't care about like the story or anything like that. I'll just get into a car or a motorbike or a bicycle, and I'll just like go around the city and just see like the beautiful scenery, and just be like, I'll put the radio on, and I'll.
You just immerse.
Yeah, I just want to drive around, and I'll do stunt jumps and stuff like that. As much flack as it gets, I liked The Crew too. I think. That game was great, and it was held back by being a fucking Ubisoft game and having to log into an online shop. But like the actual gameplay of The Crew 2 is really fun. You just you immediately just like jump into a car, or you jump into like a jet ski or like a boat or something like that, right? And that stuff was really fun. But I think that's Hate's biggest strength is just its like replayability, and it's just like it's satisfying movement. Like I love the movement system in this game, but I think for the most part it's just sort of more held back by the fact that it feels like it's a tech demo that's been ham-fisted into a game is like for the most part what it feels like with Haste.
They're trying.
Yeah.
They're too hard with the story, I guess, or
I just literally every time there's story, I'm just spamming the spacebar, being like, "Get this off!" Like, there's the same problem I had with Neon White, where I'm just like, any friction you put between me and the awesome speedrunning is like not what I want. I just want to be back into the speedrunning and back into it, right?
I guess this is the problem. Like, if you put like the story in, maybe there shouldn't be like a proper story. Like maybe just have like a more minimal story.
Well, the game has like workshop support, and I was looking for ways to just like if anyone made a mod to just skip the story. Somebody did make a utilities thing because there's like a hub world you have to run around to get to the different levels, and that can be fun. But it's like I just got to a point where I was just like, I just want to play the levels. So they make it so you can have unlimited energy in the hub world, so you can quickly get around, or you can just teleport straight to the different shards to replay them, sort of thing. Or there was a mod to add like the ability to restart a shard because that wasn't in the base game. Like it feels very much like almost like an early access release, I would say.
That's fair. Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of, I'll show you some of like the late. I want to get to this is probably one of my favorite levels in the game. Is these like train tracks and just running around these at speed because you want to stay on the train tracks. They have these boost pads, but there's these like trains running across them at the same time. So you're constantly like, you're like high speed, like dodging these trains while going through the rings. I think this is probably my favorite map in the game. Was just anything to do with this. The one thing I'll mention is the procedural generation sometimes can be like, this is another like sticking point because it uses procedural generation a lot. It's not like bespoke levels like a Neon White. It's like sometimes there'll be a boost ring. You're like, oh, I want to go through the boost ring, but the boost ring will just send you shooting off the map and just kill you. So it's like the game will accidentally troll you its procedural generation a lot of the times. Like, it doesn't always work out, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, the game does have workshop support, Tony. So immediately, one of the first things I did was download. Somebody made a mod that turns you into Sonic, and I was like,
obviously you went for it.
I showed you this earlier, and you said this kind of doesn't look wrong. This looks like it should be right.
It looks so good. It's like, this is what I want for an open
The only
world.
issue
Maybe
is
not open
like
world, but like a open Sonic game.
the person who made this made like a really scuffed rig for the Sonic model, and they were like, "Sorry, I'm not fixing this. Like, if you want to do it yourself."
Yeah.
Because I think they added it as a meme, right? But even so, I wish I had later footage because somebody else made another workshop mod that replaced the courier's voice with Sonic's voice. He goes, "Huh, yeah!" Like when you're like jumping and stuff. I was like,
right.
so there's the Sonic, and I was like, now we need the perfect final mod would be to replace the bits with golden rings, and then we have the perfect Sonic game. You know, in terms of the direction you want.
All your friends, you're playing Sonic.
But yeah, what do you think of Haste? Like from what you've seen and me talking about it, it's definitely an interesting game, but it just feels like it's missing a lot, and turning it into a game kind of gets in the way of the gameplay.
I feel like the story's getting away with the gameplay, but I don't know. I get what you're saying. Like, just like, maybe there needs to be more to it, or maybe like more. Maybe like I guess in like a Sonic game, for example, like a traditional Sonic 3D. I mean, is that traditional at that point? In a normal 3D Sonic game, like I'm thinking like Sonic Heroes, you'd have like lots of different, say, like 5 different like world types, and then you'd have like, different like, mechanics in each of them. Maybe there needs to be like more of that to make it feel more substantial instead of. And yeah, like, maybe not get rid of the story, but maybe like have it in the side or have it optional or something.
Yeah, one thing I should mention as well is you can, like... There was a bunch of unlocks in this game, so you can, like, race through levels, and they give you these pink shards. And then you can be like, oh, I now have, like, an extra health bar, or I have, like... I can go faster. But the amount of shards... You can see in the top right corner of my screen now, those are the pink shards you get to buy permanent upgrades. But the rate that they give you them is so fucking slow, and I'm like, I don't want to grind out this shit, because... one thing I should mention is, like, I was basically going into the shards on, like, the normal difficulty, and up until, like, ranks, I think the 7th shard, I was basically just, like, one-shotting all of them, being like, oh, yeah, this is pretty easy. And then, like, the difficulty curve goes from shard 7 onwards, it just goes, like, through the fucking roof, where I was just, like, failing the same shard, like, 4 or 5 times, and I was just like, okay, I think I'm done with this game at this point, because, I don't want to keep grinding to get, like, 2 pink shards and then I can't actually buy anything. So I'm like, I don't want to grind pink shards. You can turn the difficulty down, and I did turn it down to, like... There was a mode called Casual, which even then, like... The boss design was so frustrating, where I felt like it was so, like, gimmicky and unfair in, like, the higher difficulties, that even when I, like, turned it down, it was still like, oh, yeah, I'm just fucking dead again with, like... No way of being able to dodge that, like... And then I should mention as well, there is other abilities you can get. Like, I bought the ability to have a grappling hook, which is pretty cool. So that completely changed up the game, and I think that is good for replay. But again, like, it costs like 7,500 shards to be like, and now I can buy the grapple hook. I think they should, like... Because you basically blitz through... At least for me, I blitz through the beginning of the game. I have no money to, like, experiment with the other items or, like, the upgrades. And then the game just goes to, like, an insane difficulty spike. It just feels really poorly balanced.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, I don't really want to grind this game out to get upgrades. I'd rather just... Like, if I'm going to load up this game again, I'm just going to go into, like, endless mode and just enjoy my time through that. Where, like, there's no maps or stuff like that. It's just all about just going through the levels over and over again, sort of thing. But yeah, that's my opinion on Haste.
Is this game, like, I have 2 questions. Like, how expensive is this game? I don't know, like, what sort of,
I think it's like £15 on launch. So it's not. It's a pretty cheap game. Yeah, like, it's an indie game from Landfall. Yeah. So I don't feel too bad about
I guess,
buying it.
Is it being updated still?
Yeah, they're still doing that, but it's mostly just like bug fixes and being like, you now have the ability to reset shards. Yeah.
Right, fair.
Let's go into like
I don't know. I get what you're saying.
Another game I played that came out this year. Nubby's Number Factory.
Yeah, this one.
What did you think the first time you saw this game?
I was like, well, I thought it was like, what the hell is going on there? I was like, okay, it kind of reminds me. It's not. It's not. I don't know. Maybe not Bejeweled, but like maybe more like Peggle. That's it. Yeah. I was like, what the hell's going on? So it's like Peggle, but something, but with the crazy.
It's almost like Y2K, like style. Fucking.
Yeah.
Oh,
like deliberately, like with
you know, like the Windows 95, like screensaver
yeah.
pipe stuff.
I do wish they were kind of animated in the background, but that might ruin the whole aesthetic. Like you kind of want to be focused in the center.
And you were a big fan of the supervisor Tony over here.
Yeah, he goes crazy. It's just a great animation style.
I think that's the developer Mogdog. I think that's him. Like he is Tony and he does all the animations. It's like an indie thing. The way I found out about this game. So basically, the general idea of the game is it's essentially like Peggle. You have pegs and you're trying to pop them, but it is very much just like. Numbers go up. It's very much like a Balatro sort of game where it's a roguelite where you're trying to buy items in order to be able to get more points to get through the round goals. But the items are just the weirdest shit you've ever seen. It's like, how about a meat orb or a cactus to increase your build? It's like, what does a cactus do? Oh, if you pop 5 pegs, then it pops another peg. And it's like, because every time you pop a peg, you get points from that peg. And then it's like, then you have synergy where if you pop pegs, you can pop more pegs because pegs pop equals peg pops. You know what I'm saying? Like you start to build stuff up.
Yeah, you're trying to like escalate.
But then you can like
break the game, right?
You can like mix it with other stuff where you're like, okay, it might be good to pop the pegs, but my pegs might not be valuable. So I'm going to take stuff that increases the value of my pegs, or I'm going to take stuff where there's stuff like Cheese House, which I can't believe Cheese House is a thing in the house. It's a house made of cheese, and it's like every time Nubby dies, it just gives you a fuck ton of points. So you can actually just like have builds where you like it's a really good early game item because it just gives you crazy flat points, but it doesn't give you like scaling points, for example.
It felt like when you first started playing that, it's like the one you always wanted to go for because it's like the one that made the most sense in terms of like synergy.
But Dancing Dino is a really interesting item because I basically through playing this game went from I don't understand Dancing Dino, I think Dancing Dino is a bad item, to I think Dancing Dino is probably the best item in the game. Like I went through the whole arc of figuring out how to use Dancing Dino to a point where I sent you that meme of like Charlie in Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where he's the Pepe Sylvia, where he's like, I figured it out, the Dancing Dino build. But yeah, so I saw this game. I think I was watching Northern Lion on Twitch, and he was playing this, and I was just like, this looks so fucking weird and confusing. But I sat down and I played it, and I was like, but it looks really fucking fun. Like I have no idea what's happening. I have like a general idea what's happening. But then I was like, I gotta try this for myself because this is intriguing. And I think I started playing this. I was streaming on Twitch, and my friend Martin, he was like, okay, I've got to play this as well. And then we were both doing like different builds, and it became like a point where we were both like going infinite on like, because when you beat the game, you can say I want to keep playing, and it was like we were playing the endless mode, and we were getting like how many points was it at? It was like. We'd gone past the billions, we were going past the trillions.
It was the septillion. Because it went to just about big S rank, which is septillion.
Yeah.
Sure, it was which is like orders of magnitude more than like trillion.
I can show you like the game-winning Dancing Dino build. You can get a taste of like what a late-game Nubby sort of game looks like.
You have big M, which is billion. You got big B. Billion. You got C for trillion. You got little q for quadrillion. Big Q for quintillion. Then you got S for sextillion. Then big S for septillion. Like you just got like 1.0 septillion.
So the way
is that about when it crashed?
Yeah. So very early on in the game, we would basically just keep playing endless mode until like the game's logic couldn't handle how many points we were getting. It would just kind of, like most games you play, the game crashes and you're like, oh, that fucking sucks. Like, that's annoying. I hope they fix that bug. Every time I crashed Nubby's Number Factory at endless mode, I was like, hell yeah. It was like a badge of honor. Like, I'd broken the game so much that the game was crashing and was unable to keep up with the bullshit I was doing, right?
Yeah, that's what it felt like for sure.
But it's like, I can kind of explain what's going on here, but like the way Dancing Dino works is every time you hit a peg, you have a chance to either do nothing, double the peg, or half the peg. And I was like, why would you ever want to half a peg? Because halving a peg decreases its value. But then I was like, wait a minute. I had this eureka moment. I was like, halving a peg is halving a peg. And there's cards like, Evil Goose, where every time you half a peg, it gives you like triple the value of the lowest peg. And then you have stuff like Asbestos, where every time you bounce, it like increases a random peg. And you got like Jake the Snake, where you're doubling pegs.
Yeah.
So you're creating pegs that are really high value, and then you're halving them constantly, which is also doubling them as well. And you're doubling.
Yeah.
And it just increases.
You're saying halving a peg is the same as hitting a peg.
Yeah, that's what I didn't understand initially. And I was like, wait, halving a peg is halving a peg.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how.
Because this is what I was like every time. As soon as I understood Dancing Dino, every single build I did was a Dancing Dinosaur build. I was like, I became addicted to the item. I was like, I have to build more Dancing Dinosaur. It was like a crutch for me. Like early game, like I was very much like I'm a cheese house player. And I was doing stuff like...
Everyone's a good cheese house.
And every time like you get over the point value, you get a restock, which gives you gold. And it like adds the value of the pegs together. Oh, this is Nubby's Mart, which has a mouth which you can feed stuff to get perks. Like I have Kebab here, which is getting me like every time I die, I have a 50% chance to trigger my item in slot 7. So where you have your items in Nubby is really important because... different perks trigger in different places. So you'll start off with just, I think it's the first 4 slots unlocked, and then you have to pay to unlock extra. And then you'll have perks that'll be like, this triggers items in your odd number slots. So you'll want to make sure you have something good in 1, 3, 5, and 7. But you're also, positioning is important. You know, like Joker's and Balatro trigger from like left to right. Nubby's triggers from left to right. So I'm like, I want to double a peg before I want to double my pegs as much as I can. I want to increase the value of my pegs before I double them, because increasing their value first will be a higher value if I have that happen before the doubling, right?
Yeah, it's interesting that you're like, oh, this is like the optimal place for it. And it's like, it's not just like, oh, I want it here to do this, and they're kind of optimizing there.
Yeah,
that was interesting.
But you see, like, because there's these stuff, there's mannequin head in slot number 6, and he's a corrupted item. So you can go to the vending machine every now and then, and you can buy the ability. You can like, it's like a claw machine thing you play. I think I saw it in some of the footage. And the claw machine lets you get a key to the black market, and this lets you buy like corrupted items. And corrupted items are like, they have like really unique effects, but they can't be force triggered. But Mannequin Head was really interesting here because Mannequin Head, I think it's when you pop the first peg. Here's another Dancing Dinosaur build. Mannequin Head, when you pop the first peg, it like halves the value of all the pegs, which is like, oh, okay, I'm halving the value of all the pegs. I'm not going to get as many points, but it also makes it so it reduces the round goal by 30%. And Tony, I just want to remind you, when you're halving a peg, you're halving a peg, and I have half peg scaling. Yes. So I want to half all the pegs, even if it means, lowering their value. That doesn't matter to me because I'm dancing on them with a dinosaur. I feel like every time I talk about this game, I sound like a crazy person. I'm bouncing on them with Dancing Dino, I'm bouncing on that thing.
I feel like you explained maybe it doesn't make sense until you actually sit down and
it's like you're playing super auto pets, and it's like, oh, I have to I have to trigger my fucking duck here because if I trigger my duck, then my lion gets buffed, and it's just like anyone else listening to this is being like, this is just gibberish, right? But
it's CIA code.
Yeah,
that's what's up.
But once you're in Nubby's number factory, a beautiful thing will happen. It'll start to make sense. And it's like, I think it's like a solo dev thing. It's a game that came out this year, and I think it costs like £3 to £4, but it is like one of the best games I've played so far this year. Nubby's Number Factory. It is so like fun and addictive, and it's really good. It is sort of like, it feels like my Balatro of this year, where it's just like, this is the game to watch the number go up, but it's also insanely like well made and balanced. I think it's genuinely a good game. I think because I've got like 20 hours in this game, but I could definitely see myself playing more of this. I have to stop myself playing Nubby a lot of the time because I'm like, when I load up Nubby, I'll just play nothing else than Nubby. But also I'm waiting because with Balatro you should just like save mid-run and close the game. But currently in Nubby, you can't save mid-run. If you close the game, it finishes the run. But they're adding that in a patch. It's like the next big patch, so I'm excited for that. And of course they're working on a mobile version because like Balatro popped the fuck off on mobile as well.
Yeah, that would be, yeah, I can see that for sure.
Because like I played Ballionaire, like that game, which was like a was like a Peggle game, and I really didn't like that game at all. It was like you place like pegs on a board and then you sort of play Peggle, and I really didn't connect with that. But I fucking love Nubby's Number Factory. Nubby is so much closer to like the feeling of playing Peggle.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, not as someone as like I'm not a pro at Peggle like you.
But you know I'm a big Peggle enjoyer, and it's like it's another game accidentally designed for me. It's a roguelite deck building Peggle game. But yeah, I adore Nubby's Number Factory. It's definitely up there for one of my favorite games of this year. Really, really fun. And do you have any interest in playing Nubby's Number Factory? Does it look like an insane, crazy person when I talk about and you see this game and you're just like, what the hell is going on?
I kind of like that. It's just like it sounds like you're a crazy person.
Yeah, you just have
like that's what makes it.
The core gameplay is so this is Tony. He's our supervisor here, but you can, as you complete games and do challenges, you can unlock different guys. So I had Goblony, which is like a green version of Tony, and he's a goblin. And basically, I think Goblony is like a greedy guy because he's a goblin. So you only get you gain double money and your gold cap is increased, and it's like, oh, that's really good, but every time you die it takes twice the amount of lives off you, so it's like a really high risk reward sort of play style. So you die quicker but you earn money faster. And so
do you do challenges for that?
Yeah, so originally you had to do challenges and people didn't like that. I did a couple of challenges, like I did the because I thought some of them were pretty fun. Like I completed the challenge where you were only allowed to jumble the... Normally when you're playing, you can do this thing called jumbling the pegs. So you can be like, oh, I don't like where the high value pegs are placed, right? And you can shuffle them around. But there was a challenge where you were only allowed to do that once per the entire game. So you kind of had to play statically, and it kind of changed up how you played. Or there's one called Mystery Box, where every single item is a mystery. You cannot know what it is before you purchase it. So you kind of just have to buy by feel and just try and play around what you have, right?
Are the prices fixed? Like, how the pricing?
Yeah, prices are fixed, but they can be any item in the game, pretty much.
Interesting.
Which is like... But I like the challenge, but some of them were kind of hard, right? I'm trying to remember what the other, but there was some annoying ones. So basically, they changed it now. So in order to, you don't have to do a specific challenge to unlock a specific supervisor. You can just play the base game, because like the reward for beating the base game was that you unlocked the challenge mode, and then every other piece of progression originally was just in challenge mode. But now, like, you could just play the base game again, and playing through the game has a progression even if you don't win. You'll get like points towards buying a new supervisor.
Oh, okay, they changed that. Because I saw it as they get to do the challenge.
Sometimes I'm playing Nubby and I just genuinely have no idea what's going on. Like, I played this game a lot and I understand a lot about it, but then I'm like, I'm doing a run and then suddenly I'll get like 2 million points out of nowhere. And I'm just like, what the fuck happened? How did that happen? Like,
Yeah.
this game still like surprises me to this day. They are adding a mode where they're like, it's gonna let you break down statistics and be like, here's what item did what and how it works if you want to do that. But I kind of like playing this game like Balatro, where I'm just playing it by feel. And I'm like, I feel like this should give me more points, you know, and not just like crunching down on numbers, because I don't like crunching numbers and being like, mathematically this is correct to buy. I'm just like, this item seems cool. I feel like it's going to give me more points. Let's give it a go, sort of thing. It's like more like how I like to play these sort of games. But yeah, that's Nubby's Number Factory in our Mega Tangerine.
Cheap game as well.
Yeah, again, it's like £3. Just pick it up and play it. It's really fun.
Yep.
Speaking of a game that's also really cheap, I think this game is also £3. It is a game about digging a hole. This is the...
Wait, is that cheap?
Yeah. It's basically...
Okay.
They made this game as a way to advertise their bigger game. They were like, let's make like a short little simple game. And I think they're making a different. They're making like a survival crafting like Sky game sort of thing. They've got another game here that was in a bundle with Cash Cleaning Simulator. Tony, this is in the random menial task simulations. You know, I'm a big fan of like Power Wash Simulator. This is literally a game where you go into your back garden, you dig a hole. The innate urge of a man to dig a hole and jump into it. I mean, come on. It's what everyone wants to do.
You just want to see hell.
Yeah. But that was always the thing when you were a kid. It was like, if you keep digging a hole, eventually you end up in China, you know?
Yeah. I'm more scared of like if you try to dig a hole, it would just collapse in on you.
Yeah. So essentially the gameplay of this is you are digging up dirt and you're trying to find like stone and valuable materials and then you use that to buy upgrades. It's a very like that's the core gameplay loop, is to try and find the treasure and just so you have to, oh, my inventory's full, I've got to sell my stuff and I can upgrade my inventory. As you dig, you have
buying stones?
People on eBay apparently. They like. Do you remember crazy bones? They're like pieces of plastic with faces on them. When we were kids, they were like really popular and people collected them. And I was like, this is stupid. They're literally just pieces of plastic with faces on them. So I just got stones from the garden and just drew faces on them. And I'm like, look, I've got my own crazy bones and I've saved a bunch of money.
I don't remember that at all.
Okay.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, they were really popular. I guess you could do that even easier now with 3D printing, right? You could just be like,
oh yeah,
I don't need to collect this. Yeah. I can just print this off whenever I want something.
This is complete tangent, but I have noticed it's like oh, this product we could have sold that I'm not going to bother anymore because let's just 3D print it instead. You know what? That is a good thing. Less time.
Well, a lot of like
being printed instead, so
a lot of like maker-focused companies will be like, I've made this cool 3D print of a bracket for like Steam Decks and stuff, and then they'll be like, you can buy it and get it pre-assembled, but if you have a 3D printer, here's the 3D files if you want to just make it yourself. Like the maker mentality of being like, hey, I made this and I think other people should be able to make it too. Here's my files if you want to like remix it and make changes to it. But yeah, this is in that. I mean, have you ever played one of these like simulate? Do you understand the appeal of something like Power Wash Simulator, where it's just like menial task simulator?
No.
Like
I don't get Power Wash. It just seems like really like tedious. Like I get like I guess I get it with like sorting, like inventory sorting.
I was gonna say like
for that,
you like to play Minecraft, and Minecraft can have a lot of stuff that's just like you're placing blocks. You're just like digging a bunch of walls out of the ground, sort of thing.
Yeah, it holds my attention for a little bit, but then I get like, oh, I wish I could like if there's a progression in on it.
Yeah.
But doesn't digging a hole have a progression where it's like you start digging small, you get bigger and bigger and bigger?
There's so like you can see I'm going really slow here. And I have to manually left click the button, and I'm like, oh, this is so annoying. I wish I could hold down the button. But you don't worry, you eventually get an upgrade that's a drill, and it basically you just hold the button down. So it's like they've locked the convenience behind like the upgrade, and this isn't the one thing again, the game's £3, but it's like the one thing I was like, I wish there was more of it. It's only about like an hour long, the game, I would say. And there's not much replayability outside of a couple of achievements. Like, I liked my time with digging a hole, again about digging a hole, but it is very much just like something you put on, play once, and then you're kind of done with it sort of thing after like an hour. Which I didn't mind that experience.
I guess my question is then, like, is Power Wash... I guess there's more to it than Power Wash, but like, after you've done the levels, like, would you play a level again?
Me personally, no, but I have friends who will just replay Power Simulator over and over again. Like, pretty much like me and my friend, we will just go on if there's a new level. We'll play the new level once. We're like, yeah, that's fun. We played it in multiplayer. But my friend's wife, she will basically just keep playing Power Wash Simulator over and over again, just re-cleaning the same stuff with, different tools and stuff, and just... It is a different experience playing it single player and multiplayer, I would say. Like, I feel like you miss out on a lot of the content when you're playing multiplayer, because I didn't get to clean the fountain. I didn't get to clean Wallace and Gromit's fountain. I was cleaning their car while my friend was cleaning the fountain and stuff like that. But yeah. You do eventually get like a radar thing, so that you have to keep going back because you have a jetpack and your tools are powered, so you have to keep recharging your battery or you'll explode and lose a bunch of money.
Sure.
And as you dig deeper, you find like some caverns, and you get like a radar scanner that can like point you towards like rare materials to be like, okay, I want to go in this direction. But it is a very simple and short game.
I know it's a different perspective, but like if it were a game like kind of like that, I feel like the Steam Mod Dig is more like you're going up, back, going down, back up, and upgrading, like getting stuff.
Steam Mod Dig is... I get what you're saying, but Steam Mod Dig is much more of like a Metroidvania full of like puzzles and
I suppose
abilities.
But I think I do need that. I need more. I think is what I am saying. Like, I feel like I can't just like, you're just digging this thing and it gets faster and faster.
Yeah, like I don't love a game about digging a hole, but I thought it was a worthwhile hour to spend. Like, I was talking to my friends on Discord and I was just digging a hole. Do you ever play like games and you're like, it doesn't really matter what I'm doing right now, but I just want something in the background while I talk to my friends?
Oh yeah,
that's what Power Simulator is to me most of the time. It's like a Lego game, right? It's just I'm doing something to keep my brain occupied while I have conversations.
I'd rather, like, for me anyway, like load up something I already know, like an MMO or like even Minecraft, and just like jump around something I've already built or someone else is like building or something. Like, I'd rather do that if I'm going to do that instead of like loading up something specifically for that. If that makes sense.
I'm looking at the bundle on Steam now. I'm just learning about Cache Cleaning Simulator. I'm gonna have to have a look at that. Actually, let's skip ahead because there's another game that's kind of like this. We can also talk about, which is Schedule 1, which is the drug dealing simulator. So it's another one of those like simulator games where you're doing like small menial tasks but making it satisfying. And I feel this game is a lot more than a game about digging a hole, right?
Yeah, I would be interested in playing this, especially like multiplayer.
Yeah. Legalized Ranch.
Is it okay? Hang on. Isn't Schedule I, like, it's spelled Schedule I, right? But obviously it's like Roman numeral 1.
Yeah, I think it's more meant to be 1.
Yeah. Okay. No. I was gonna also say, it's like when this first came out, I kept seeing videos like, this game must be banned by the FBI. And I was like, okay, if that's how you need to get people in, I suppose. Like, what? Like, GTA exists where you do crime. Like, is it really?
It kind of reminded me of not only playing GTA Online, because that game is all about like setting up drug businesses and the gameplay that comes around that. But the game, one of my most played games of all time is Gary's Mod, and one of my most played things in Gary's Mod is a game mode called Dark RP. and Dark RP is it's a very like simple roleplay server where you basically you come in and you select a job. So you'd be like, I'm going to play as the cops, and my job is to go and knock on people's doors and be like, is there any drugs in here? And they're like, no. And then you can be like a drug dealer, and you can be making drugs, or you would have like money printers, which made no sense to me why you would have a thing that just printed money. But then eventually when cryptocurrency was a thing, they just changed them to cryptocurrency machines, and I was like, okay, that makes more sense than money printers.
Nah, I think so.
But it's just like this gameplay of like snipping drugs off and then packaging them and then going out and finding customers and building a rapport. And there's like this mini game where you can like haggle with customers, which is pretty interesting. The thing I found was,
is there more to
it
than the roleplay server in terms of like this? Obviously, like it doesn't have like you can be a cop, but like of the drug side of the dark roleplay server, like is there more to it in this game, or is it about the same?
I would say it's like there is a lot of stuff you can do in Dark RP. Like I didn't go into everything you could do in there, but there is definitely more stuff in this game than just drilling. So I was playing this multiplayer, so because I'm doing the tutorial here, so I'm just learning how to like deal drugs, because you have to do the intro before you're allowed to play with each other, so you have like a basic idea of how to play the game. But I have 10 hours in this game, Tony, and I've never dealt drugs once in this game. Is kind of crazy.
One of your people play would go crazy.
Yeah, the thing is, because we were playing like 4-player we were playing 3-player, and then we started playing 4-player co-op when my other friend joined.
Yeah.
And the way the game's set up in like multiplayer is we had like one person, like my friend, she just wanted to be like doing the plants and doing the drugs. And then we had another friend, he was like, okay, I'm going to like make sure that the drugs get dealt and deal with all the dealings. But then the way you do drugs is they pop up on your phone, and he's like, you can choose to make a deal, but it doesn't update for everybody when somebody else has like said, I'm going to do a deal with this person. So it was like really confusing. Like, you can drive cars in this, by the way, as well. Which I spent a lot of my time just skateboarding around the city, because there's a skateboard as well.
I mean that's real.
Oh, can we go back for a second there? My friend Andy on Discord, he goes, "Oh yeah, press E to boost, you son of a bitch." I was like, "You got me." But yeah, there is like a ton of stuff you can, but like, so like me playing it multiplayer, I was like, I kind of feel like I'm stepping on other people's toes trying to get in on the drug dealing stuff. So I was like, one thing you can do is you can get these litter pickers, and you can pick up trash. I'll just skip ahead to find some core gameplay. And you can take all your litter, and you can put it into these cash for trash things, and they'll give you just like a flat money rate from it. And that's a way to be like, okay, if you ever run out of money in the early game, you can't afford to buy more drugs to sell, we'll give you a way that you can add a little bit of money so you can get your drug business going back again. But I just went like full in on like litter picking. I think I got an achievement for like picking like 1,000 pieces of litter or something. I would just run around, and I would just go around recycling. And then I would take the money I got from recycling, and then I would go to the casino. There's a casino in this game, and I would go and just gamble. I love gambling it with like fake money inside video games. I love learning, because you know I like playing stuff like Balatro, and Balatro is all about learning systems and doing risk mitigation. So I was just going to the casino and trying to learn the gambling strategy, or like what is the best way to ride the bus at the casino, right? Which is a game you can play there. And I was like, I don't like 5s, I don't like 9s, I'm not going to go for those. And then it's like, because you always start with like black or red, and then you go to higher or lower, and then you go to inside or outside. So you have to say whether it's in between the numbers or outside of the two cards that you've pulled, and then it's which suit is it. Generally speaking, taking the suit is pretty bad, but you do, because it's a one in, because the first choice is a 50-50 because you're choosing between black and red, so you should always hit that. Then you have pretty good odds on your number being higher or lower. Like if you get like a face or an ace, you always go like lower, for example. Or if you get like a 2, you can be like, oh, it's higher than this, obviously. Inside or outside can be good if you get two numbers very close together, or two numbers very close apart. That is usually worth betting on. And then generally, it's not worth, for the most part, betting on the suit, because it's a 1 in 4 and it's pretty, like 25% is pretty bad odds. I know people play Balatro and they're like, I have a 1 in 4 chance to turn one of my cards into a rare tarot card, right? With the nope card, where it's like, nope, you didn't get it. But 1 in 4 is not good odds. That's 25%.
No.
But you can do a long form strategy where I was basically only ever making sure I was winning money, and then going like max bets and being like, okay, I have enough money that I can kind of just go in on the suit and just kind of waste the money when I don't get it. But when I hit a times 20 on the max bet, that's when I'm going to win a lot of money. And I was Tony. Let's skip to this is the real gameplay of the game for me. The casino gameplay. Let's get that. Ride the bus.
Do you think they expected to be able to make as much money as you did from the casino?
No, I think the casino is kind of broken in a way.
Yeah.
Oh, here's me skateboarding around the city.
You got more ridiculous as you got more
more money. Like my friends were like, oh, we can't really afford this, and I'm like, oh, I'm buying a new tattoo and a golden skateboard. I was making so much money from the casino that they were asking me for money from my litter picking gambling winnings. And I just want to point out, I haven't actually played any of the actual game at this point. I was just literally skateboarding around, picking up litter and gambling at the casino. I would wait outside the casino because it didn't open until 4:00, because you need to reset the day every day to like grow the drugs, and you can't make deals past a certain point. You have to like move on to the next day. So I would like sit outside the casino, and I would be like, just like, oh, come on, it's like 4:00, and I would like, I was almost playing Dark RP by myself, where I would start role playing with the NPCs, and I would be like, Jennifer, great to see you at the casino again. Are you gonna give me a good hand today? Like I was that guy who was just so addicted to gambling. I would just sit outside the casino waiting for the casino to open, and I had so much fun playing Schedule 1 just by like almost not playing the game, which I find very funny. Like almost just doing the side systems that the game allows you to do.
You're letting your friends have all the drug fun.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way we're all going to be able to handle this. There's 4 of us. There's no way we're all going to be able to do this drug stuff. I'm just going to come on, hit the casino, double my money quickly, which my friends are, this is a legendary loot box. Skip, you always check a skip. Look how much trash you're getting from this skip. This is insane money right here. That's going straight to the casino. That's a legendary loot box skip. Or I guess we call them skips in the UK. I don't think you call them skips outside the UK. Like a trash can or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
But it got so, because like there's these trash picker uppers that you can fill, and I was like, I wonder if they share an inventory with other trash pickers. And I was like, no, they don't. So I just bought multiple trash pickers so I could like optimize putting the most amount of trash on me at once, so I didn't have to keep going back to the cash for trash, and I could optimize the most money. You see that's an easy $40, and I can double that at the casino.
As someone with a golden skateboard, obviously you have all of these.
Yeah.
You got a fight?
Oh, I just remembered I was supposed to be doing a casino gameplay. Jennifer, great. Someone was selling Jennifer drugs. I was asking her if she was okay, because every time I went to the casino, Jennifer had red eyes, and I was getting worried about her. I was like, Jennifer, I see you every day. We ride the
doing
bus.
drugs?
What's going on with you, man? Like, we developed a relationship, me and Jennifer, you know? Like, I was worried about her, you know? She was addicted to something. I was
Yeah.
not addicted to gambling. I would just happen to be in the area every time the casino opened, and I would come in and I would drop a couple of, thousand on the
You
ride
don't think one of
ride
your
the
friends
bus.
was selling her drugs, do you?
No, I don't think they would. I mean, I was literally the most law-abiding citizen you could be in this game. Like, I would literally,
Yeah.
I would skate around recycling, and then I would go and use my legitimate gains to go to the casino. Because they were
At one point, 10 grand on you. You're like, I need to pick up this recycling.
yeah, my friend was like, you're carrying around 10 grand and you're stopping to pick up a cigarette butt off the floor. And I was like, I have to do this for the community. I have to, I have to pick up. Oh, you're joking. That was an inside for sure. That's a scam. Every time I would lose all my money, I'd be like, I'll see you tomorrow, Jennifer. I'll see you tomorrow. And I would go the next day and I would pick up a bunch more trash and I would turn that money into cash and I'd come back to the casino.
You're living the life.
But yeah, it got to the point where I figured out the gambling strategy of ride the bus. I hate blackjack in this game. I just never like. I understand you have like a 51% odd with blackjack. You can't ride the bus in a casino because the game's too good. You would the casinos would lose too much money if ride the bus was an actual game in a casino.
Yeah.
So it makes sense it's inside this game, like, because I love playing like the gambling games in like Tower Unite, where you can go and gamble in that, and it's always kind of in your favor, the gambling in that game. And I feel like ride the bus is definitely in your favor. Blackjack's tricky. There is a lot of strategy and like blackjack, right? And it's slightly favored towards you. I think it's one of the only games. And then there was also slots, which I think the slots are also like, oh yeah, I did hit a guy and put him in a dumpster can to see what would happen. I might have accidentally ran him over my skateboard. I'm still doing the law-abiding citizen build.
You said most. You said completely with Lord Bows. So to be fair.
Oh yeah, because you had like an ATM and you would share money, and my friend was like, oh, we need to buy this new drug thing. And I was like, I'm just going to take a little money out of the shared ATM and I'm just going to double it quickly at the casino and then I'll put it back. But to be fair, every time I took money, I did actually legitimately, like, anytime I would win it, I would put back the amount that I took or more to make sure I wasn't, like, just stealing money from my friends. Oh, I mean, that's an outside for sure. Life. You got heart of the cards, go for hearts. Heart of the cards, heart of the cards.
I'm going to borrow your money. I'm going to go to
heart of the cards, heart of the cards.
Double your money. Oh, no, I didn't.
You're joking me. I'll see you tomorrow, Jennifer. You're joking me. I'll see you tomorrow. I should have times 20'd that. There's no way I got scammed out of that.
Times 20.
If I hit because whenever I had to choose the suit, I just always went for the same suit because it's a 1-4. It doesn't fucking matter. But I was like, like Yugi Moto. I believe in the heart of the cards. So I always went hearts, and it just somehow won. I think I just kept hitting the jackpot on the casino machines as well. And my friend was like, how are you this fucking lucky? And I was like, I don't know. I just keep making. At one point, I made 40 grand just from the casino. Like, literally, I took like $50 of recycling money and I turned it into 40 grand. And my friends were like, we need to borrow money for the drug business from your casino winnings. And it got to a point where like I went to the store that they added, and they added this like golden toilet that you could buy, and I was like, this is my Magnus Opus. This is my end game. You may want like meth labs and to run this huge empire. I want I just want the golden toilet. This is my like this is my the ending to my story. And it got to a point where I had enough money, but there's like a cap of how much money you're allowed to put in the ATM, and I could only put 10 grand in a week. So I started like, I owned a car at this point, and I was putting like 10, I was like basically handing my friend money so she could put money into the ATM for me so we could buy this golden toilet from the casino winnings I got. Because my friends had to start laundering their money because they were like, they're illicitly gaining it, and there's like, you weren't allowed to put in dirty money straight into the ATM, right? If it was too dirty.
Makes sense.
But they were like, I was like, I just put 10 grand straight in because every money I was making was 100% clean. Like there was no dirty money.
It's just legit money.
But yeah, I just
a weird game with weird gambling. But yes, you know nothing about how the
Schedule
drug,
1. I've played for 10 hours and I have never dealt a single drug. I have no idea how it works. I had the most fun just recycling and role playing with Jennifer and just playing the casino. I don't know. That's sort of just how I play these games sometimes, and I just think that's a legit way to play it. I don't know, because it's another simulator game.
I think the game.
So what do you think about Schedule 1? Because this game kind of blew up. It was very popular on like Twitch and social media and stuff.
Yeah. I've seen a little bit of it from different, like, the non-gambling perspectives, and it's like I think I'm more interested in like trying to set up the drug deal stuff, or like the actual like production side.
Because I think I would be interested in the production side, but I think I would play single player. But then I'm like,
yeah,
if I'm gonna play
like 2-player only,
you're joking. I hit a fucking face on a 10 on a fucking lower, brother. That's crazy. Because I think about it, I'm like, oh, if I was gonna play this, I would play single player. But then I'm like, why would I play this game single player when I could play no offense, a better single player game? Sometimes that's how I feel about like playing MMOs solo.
Yes,
it's like it's kind of like I could be playing like a Disco Elysium or a Baldur's. Like I could be playing a better RPG. There's no reason for me to be playing an MMO. Yeah. Oh, do I have Egg Run gameplay on here? I think I do. You know, like the dinosaur offline game on Chrome?
Oh!
It's hard to skip through footage because this is like a 4.5-hour recording where I'm just running around picking up trash and gambling, so it's hard to find anything I actually want to when I want to find something. Anyway, there's mini games you can play on the TV. I was playing those a bit. But yeah, that is Schedule 1. Let's go back a bit. I think these next games, I don't have too much to talk about them. They're just sort of some smaller games I played. I do want to talk about Rise of the Golden Idol a bit more when we get to that.
Okay.
But this is Dreams of Aether. This essentially was a free April Fool's game, which essentially Rivals of Aether is like a 2D fighting game, and this is essentially a WarioWare version of that game. I've talked to you before about the WarioWare format, where it's essentially like, you know, a couple of second mini games where you don't know what you're supposed to do, but then you have to very quickly figure it out. I like that sort of thing. I find like it's fun to just be like, oh, I've got to shake this bottle and make it explode and stuff like that in the time limit, right?
So I spoke about mini games before. Like, I think for me, it's like I like I'm so Ratchet and Clank. At least the older ones, if you don't know, have like at least 3 lockpicking mini games that are different, like per game. And I quite like that. It was just like, here's like, to get past this, you have to do the fishing mini game. There's a lockpicking mini game. Yeah, I quite like that. I think just like with no context or like nothing else in between, like I don't really enjoy that. I quite like what's it called, like the Nintendo stuff, like there's like the board game stuff with the mini games. I quite like
that. Mario Party.
I hate some of the mini game. Yeah. I hate some of the mini games, and that kind of always a problem with mini game stuff.
Because I we'll talk about this when we do the Switch Tangerine, but I've been playing Super Mario Party Jamboree, and I just play there's a mode where you can just play the mini games, and that's what I do. I just kind of ignore the board game stuff. But I do have some friends who are like, oh, I love the board game stuff. Like it's great when it adds together with the minigame stuff. But like I'm a big fan of the WarioWare games. Like I think it was, is it Move It, the one on the Wii? I really enjoyed that. I also played one of the ones they did on the Switch, which was really fun. But I like this formula, and it is quite funny as well. Like on the Wii version, when you were playing WarioWare, it would be like answer the phone, and you would have to like I think it makes more sense when you have like the stuff like the Joy-Cons of the Wiimote, where you have to like physically move around and like mime actions with it. Like, it can be done with a controller, but I think the novelty of having motion controls kind of adds to the fun of them, where, like, in WarioWare, it would be like, answer the phone, and you would pick up the Wiimote and you put it to your ear, and then, I don't know if you know, there's a speaker inside the Wiimote, and almost very few games actually use the speaker in the Wiimote, but you would put the Wiimote to your ear, and it would play through the speaker like, "Hello, who is this?" Like you were having like a phone conversation with somebody. I was like, that's such a fun little small detail. Like that's the sort of stuff I love about like these WarioWare games, and I think maybe that doesn't get translated as well when you have like these Dreams of Aether, or there's an Spookware was like a Halloween, like spooky version of like WarioWare game modes, which I thought they had some pretty fun mini games in there, but overall I was a bit mixed on. But this game's really short. Okay. This game is only like, I think it was like an hour or two long. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, like it took me half an hour to beat this game. So like it's not very long at all, and it was a free game for April Fools. I think now you can buy it, and I think it costs like £2. So it's a short little sweet game, and if you like WarioWare style stuff and you want to play it on Steam, this is cool. There was story stuff to do with the characters having dreams, but I've never played Rifles of Aether, so I had no idea what was going on. I was pretty much, again, just ignoring it and just enjoying the gameplay.
Right.
Then we have Half-Life 2 RTX. I was talking to you before, and I was like, I usually don't replay games, but Half-Life 2 might be my most replayed game of all time. I think, legitimately, I may have played Half-Life 2 at least 30 times at this point. I always end up replaying Half-Life 2, like, once a year by, like, somebody being like, okay, here's this mod.
But not on purpose, by accident. By accident, sort of not.
Well, no, sometimes I purposely be like, I want to play Half-Life 2, and I'll go back and be like, okay, I'm going to play through and get like the achievement for bringing the gnome all the way through Half-Life 2 episode 2. Or like, I'll play Synergy with my friends and we'll play multiplayer Half-Life 2. Or like, because last year we had, I played through Half-Life 2 playing through the workshop update they did with the 20th anniversary. And this year, I've been playing through the demo for Half-Life 2 RTX. So far, there is only Ravenholm and Nova Prospect, which is the prison level of Half-Life 2. But, man, this game looks so fucking good with the HTMLs. I think, like...
I really like the gun, personally. Like, the glow.
You mean the gravity gun? With the the orange glow coming off it. I think it's really cool when you like set the headcrab zombies on fire and they just like slowly. Did you see that when I picked up the barrel and it had like the orange glow on the barrel from the gun? But like when you set one of the zombies on fire and they're in like a dark hallway and like the fire spreads out to the side around them and like it's like a moving light that comes towards you. I love path trace stuff, and I think like genuinely this will be like the future of gaming at some point. But man, is this fucking expensive to run right now. Like this is again, like I played like the Portal RTX stuff, and I've played Portal Prelude RTX. I feel like I've played some other like path tracing stuff. Quake path traced was really heavy as well. Quake 2 specifically it was. I have a 4080 Tony, and this game still like I'm playing with like DLSS performance. I'm playing with Transformer model as well because it was helping with like you see like this spinning razor blade thing. It was helping with that, and I'm still like not getting the highest frame rate. I'm trying to remember how much FPS I was getting. I would maybe like I want to say like 50, 60 potentially, somewhere around there. Maybe even like 40 FPS sort of thing. I did actually turn on frame generation, and I preferred playing through this with frame generation. I feel like when it comes to path trace stuff, it's an experience you just can't have without frame generation at this point. And because it's just so heavy, and like in terms of like latency and stuff, I prefer playing without frame generation when I can. But like, so like I will turn graphics settings down. But when it comes to Half-Life 2 RTX, the experience of the game is playing with the path tracing. So I can't really turn that off, right?
Yeah.
I can play with like, because I was playing like 4K DLSS in performance mode, which is like sort of the lowest I would go with you can maybe go ultra performance mode, but then you're rendering at like 720p internal resolution. What was I changing the preset here? So this was the high preset, I think, and I was like, I wonder if I turn the ultra preset on, and then that's when I think the FPS started to tank more, and I was like, oh, I think I need to turn frame generation on.
It's crazy how intense this is, but it does look great.
The thing that
cobbles look great.
The thing that as you can see here, so I've turned the ultra setting on, Tony, and I'm getting 25, 26, 27 FPS and with DLSS performance mode at 4K. And it's all like, because it's adding the wrapper of the path trace stuff onto it on a 4080 with a 7700X CPU. Yeah. It's all GPU. Like, look, it's 98% GPU, like 40% CPU, because like it's just not touching the CPU with the Half-Life 2 engine that it's wrapped around. But you can see here that's giving me a latency of like 100 milliseconds at the current frame rate. So I think I do turn on frame generation, and it can be a bit buggy, like to capture like the NVIDIA overlay, and like it's hard to record these games because you're already like putting an overlay on top of the game itself by adding the RTX remix stuff. But yeah, I wanted to say, like, I think Orbitfold Studios have done a really good job of just like faithfully recreating the assets of Half-Life 2 and making them look so much better in like a Nintendo hire this guy Mario in Unreal Engine 5 kind of way, you know. Where it's just like, you know what I'm talking about, where you see like Mario running around like this hyper realistic Unreal Engine 5 tech demo thing, and you're just like, oh god, this looks awful. This look to me, I played this and I was like, this is how I remember Half-Life 2 looking for the most part, right? And then it goes to a point where I turn off like the enhanced models and ray tracing. I'm like, oh damn, that makes a huge difference to how it looks. But yeah, like usually when I play through Ravenholm, I try and not use a gun at all. Like I just love picking up saw blades and explosives and just using the gravity gun throughout the entirety of Ravenholm. I'll see if I think I have some Nova Prospect footage here. My game did start to, because I was editing settings live while playing through it, and my game did start to like bug out at some point, because this is a demo, so it's not like final, and it's like a modding studio making it. But you've never played Half-Life 2, right, Tony?
No.
This is the point in the game where you need to go to prison to rescue someone, and you basically have this thing called the bug bait, which you can... I could tell you who it is, but I'm trying not to spoil it in case you ever do play Half-Life 2, because it's a good game. Okay. But you essentially have this bug bait thing, which allows you to control the antlions. You, like, squeeze it. If you saw my cursed Half-Life 2 playthrough, I think it was the pizza from Lego Island I had as my bug bait. Oh, no. Yeah. And then I eventually changed it to the fish with the carrot in its mouth that goes, ugh. Do you remember that meme?
Yeah, I don't understand that reference.
Yeah.
It's just disgusting.
But yeah, so you go to this prison and you're trying to like knock out the turrets to get your because normally antlions are your enemies, but you get to a point in Half-Life 2 where you can control them, and it's like this cool moment where you get to like raid this prison with your like army of minions, which is really, really cool. But yeah, I think that's I think the because like you can see there, like the poster is not changed. I think it was bugging out. Like I think I needed to like restart the game and start again, because that poster is not changed. But so far they've only showed off Ravenholm and Nova Prospect, which are 2 chapters from the game. There's obviously much more to the game than that. But I think what's going to be really cool as well is even if you don't have a a ray tracing capable system, or like an older, like you have a 2080, Tony. Like I played through Portal RTX with a 2080, and I was like, oh man, I can't use frame generation, and this like even running on like the lowest settings.
Super as well.
Yeah, like even running on the lowest settings, I was getting like 20 FPS sometimes, and I was like struggling through, Portal RTX and the lowest settings, and it was so much better playing on the 4080. But I think one of the biggest benefits of a mod project like this is the much enhanced versions of the Half-Life 2 assets. Hopefully somebody will upload that to like the workshop or like with the 20th anniversary version of Half-Life 2, and you can play through like that, because the assets they've made are really good. Like, so I remember playing through Half-Life 2 VR, and playing in VR, you get really up and close with the actual models themselves. And I was like, oh man, like when you're playing in VR, you can really see the age of them. And I found a thing on the workshop which used AI upscaling to like bring up some of the quality of the assets, and it really made a huge difference to the actual feeling of playing through that. Again, another way I've replayed Half-Life 2, I've played it in VR. Gonna get this Lambda cache hit, but yeah, I'll talk about this more probably when the full game comes out, but I'm really impressed with playing the demo of Half-Life 2 RTX. Really, really cool experience, and it's awesome to see possibly my favorite game of all time in a different light. Definitely,
that's true.
Definitely a contender for my. I fucking love Half-Life 2. You know I'm a big Valve fan, and yeah, I adore this game. What we got next?
It's good to see it. I do really like the look of it. So.
Heroes of Valor, I think I talked about this on the podcast briefly, but one of my favorite multiplayer games from back in the day was Battlefield Heroes, which is essentially it was made by like DICE, the developers of the Battlefield games, but it was like if you took Battlefield and you mixed it with TF2, you would get like these wacky World War II games where you had like this class-based system, where you had like the medic who could heal people. You had like the assault class who had like fire bullets, and then you had like the tank class who would go in and throw like explosive kegs at people and send them, had like an RPG and would go flying in the sky. And then there was like a spy sniper class, which you would snipe people and you could like stealth and stab people in the back. I think I have the sniper class here. But yeah, I played the fuck out of this, and they shut down the servers eventually, and people made like a community version of Battlefield Heroes. And EA shut that down as well, I think. At least one of the projects.
They do something.
Yeah, I think there might be another one up. But this is sort of like a spiritual successor to Battlefield Heroes. It's called Heroes of Valor. And I've been playing this a bit. They had like because it's not out yet, it was like a playtest thing they were doing, and my initial thoughts were it was pretty fun to like go back and experience sort of like the gameplay similar to Battlefield Heroes, but like playing through this on the playtest, there was already servers just full of bots, and I felt like the appeal of yeah, it was like the bots were okay, but it was like the thing with Battlefield Heroes that was so fun was just when you had servers full of people just like playing the game, and it's just like I'm a little bit worried about like the player base. Just from like the playtest, there was like no barrier to entry, because I don't know if this is going to be like a paid game, but if it's like a paid game, I don't know how many people would like buy this and pick it up. But yeah, I had some like nostalgic fun going back and play this, but I'm worried about like the actual longevity of this sort of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I wanted to quickly mention about Heroes of Valor. Like, if you're somebody like me and you're like, oh, okay, I remember Battlefield Heroes, it's probably worth giving this at least a go. And maybe like going onto a server with friends might be a good idea. But I was worried about the player base overall.
How many people are like on each team though? What is
the? You can play up to like I think like 32 versus 32 sort of thing. You can get like a lot of people on it. Yeah. And I don't know if I had it in the gameplay, but another cool thing about Battlefield Heroes was you get like tanks and you could have like planes. And the cool thing about planes, you could have someone flying the plane. It was very like cartoony in you could have somebody sitting on the side of like the wing of the plane and shooting people. Or you could have like you could like rocket jump in the game. Like it wasn't like very realistic physics sort of thing. So Tony, this is Rise of the Golden Idol, and Rise of the Golden Idol is a game I was talking about recently with the Metroidvanias, which is sort of like a point and click detective game, but it's not point and click in like you need to like randomly walk around a world and, you know, click on things and hope like a statue interacts with like a coconut and then hope that opens a door somewhere and like being really convoluted. It's essentially you are a police detective and you get to see a murder scene as it's happening or after it's happening, and you basically have to figure out. It kind of breaks it down into like you need to figure out what's happened, and you break it down by figuring out who is who. So you have these words that you get by discovering clues. So you go like, oh, this person's wearing a name tag that says the word Jensen Turner, and then you go, oh, okay, this guy is Jensen Turner, and Jensen Turner is being strangled. So Jensen Turner was strangled by, and then you have to figure out who the other people are and how they're doing it. And it starts off really simple, and you actually start to get assumptions and being like, oh, I think this is what happens. But the game starts to add like red herrings, which like, if I go to the next example, I think I've got the scene here of this one here, where it's like the guy is passed out here, and it's like, oh, was he hit by the car? Did he slip from the stairs? Like you start to like it. There's like multiple ways he could have died, and you kind of have to be like, oh, okay,
suss it out.
Yeah, I think I
very much detective scene. Like you look at a scene and they're trying to sort like a detective.
Yeah, and I've really been enjoying playing this. I need to play more of it, but I've been playing so many fucking games recently that I need to get back and play it. The reason I even gave this game a chance, because this looks nothing like any game I would ever play, was that Netflix lets you play free games on their mobile app. You basically just go and you sign in with your Netflix account, and then you go to the App Store and you can get games for free on like iOS and Android. There is a couple of games you can get like on the actual Netflix website, but it's kind of limited, and it's mostly you have to go through the mobile version. Like I've played like Hades and the GTA Definitive Trilogy, which I think is only available on iOS. You can't get on Android, which kind of sucks. But you're like, oh, this guy's called Bagman because his ID says Bagman. So you're like, okay. And if that woman next to him is his wife because he has a wedding ring, maybe her surname is Bagman. And you start to make these connections, and it's a really interesting way of doing this kind of gameplay. But so yeah, I started playing on a mobile phone, and one day I was waiting for my like headphones to connect to my TV, and they were already connected to my phone. I was like, fuck it. I'll just load up this Rise of the Golden Idol game and I'll try it out on my phone. And I sat and I played the tutorial and I think the first mission, this one. And I was like, man, this is really fucking fun. I want to play more of this, but I'm really annoyed that I have to sit and play it on a tiny screen sitting down in my, in my bed. And I was like, I didn't want to play this on a big screen. So I immediately went out and I purchased the game on Steam, and that's why I've been playing it on. It's a big screen game. It's a big screen game. You could totally play this on like an iPad or something, right? Or even a phone at a push, right? But I was enjoying it much more playing it on the on my computer, right? Clicking on things.
I think, yeah. I could see this working on a tablet. I don't think any phone is going to work for me personally. I think tablet maybe. You're just moving words about and clicking things right.
But yeah, so I guess there's going to be sport. This is one of the first puzzles because I had to replay this through because I played it on the mobile version first. So I was like, okay, I need to get up to speed on. Yeah, so I guess there'll be spoilers for the first puzzle, but like just to show you like how red herrings can work. When I did this, I was like, oh, did he get hit by a car? Oh, he was a smoker. He must have been buying cigarettes and slipped down the stairs. And then again, Tony, you know, like I was talking about Metroidvanias with that Eureka moment. He is wearing like this. yellow shirt and it's ripped, and then I was like, wait a minute, there's like a yellow piece of fabric up here, and it looks like somebody's fallen down here. And I was like, oh, Eureka, I figured out how he died. He fell from the fucking highway. That's how he died. Because you see stuff like the keys, which leads you to believe it's stuff to do with the car, the lighter and the cigarettes takes you to the vending machine, and then you're like, no, I figured out how he's died. And then you sort of get this, you get like that satisfying, I've cracked the case thing. But the really interesting thing that Rise of the Golden Idol does is it exists in this like larger world where every single case is connected to like a bigger mystery in the world. So as I'm figuring out these smaller cases, there's this thing going on called like the red pox curse, which is giving people like these red eyes when they die and stuff like that. And when you figure out the names of people and the events that happened in the smaller puzzles, there's like this larger conspiracy going on that you can figure out with these smaller puzzles. And like I love the world of the Rise of the Golden Idol, because you have these, like, the art style of Rise of the Golden Idol is so strange, and it's not like anything I've ever seen before. It's very like stylized in like it's almost like this. It's like very painterly, but almost like this MS Paint, like very simplistic way. I can't just, and it's like, it's almost, I would almost say it's ugly. Like it's not like innately pleasing to the eye,
pretty.
But it is like unique and intriguing in that way. But yeah, I was very like won over by like how simple the gameplay can start and be like, here you go, it breaks it down like you're trying to figure out words and stuff like that. But there'll be stuff like, I'm on a construction site and I'm trying to figure out who was operating which vehicle, and I'm trying to figure out who's operating which vehicle and how the foreman died. But as I'm figuring out how the foreman died, I'll find a homeless guy who's died in a pipe down here, and he has the red curse pox, and I'm like, oh wait, what's going on with this guy? This is like a side tangent to like what I'm trying to do here, and I'm trying to, and like there's like a TV conference you do, and it's like they're trying to cover up the story, and they're trying not to talk about what's going on, and there's this really interesting meta narrative that exists in Rise of the Golden Idol, and it's like, it is one of those games where the less you know about it, the better, I feel like, but yet it does give you like that, aha, I figured this out sort of thing, while also giving you like this intriguing world and mystery that you want to figure out more stuff about. I need to play Rise of the Golden Idol, and I bought also Case of the Golden Idol, which Case of the Golden Idol is set in like, I don't know, like the fucking 1500s or something, where this is more modern day, and I think they're sort of semi-set in the same world. But I played this game, the sequel, which came out last year, because I already started playing it on the Netflix game. But I'll probably go back and I'll play their previous game, and this game has DLC as well, so they are still like.
So you've not completed this one
stuff. No, I've played it for like a few hours, so I've done a few of the mysteries. But again, like, I think I've played like 20 games that have come out this year so far. Like I am playing a bunch of games this year, and I'm just trying to be like, I'm going to play this, I'm going to play this, and I'm just going to come back to stuff I'm enjoying. And the Rise of the Golden Idol is always a game that I want to come back to, because it's really intriguing. But it's sort of one of those games where you need to sit down and commit to it for a bit, because you can't just like solve half a puzzle of like a crime scene. You need to solve it, and you might even want to like sit down and try and solve like a set of murders together, because again, this ties into the bigger narrative, and it's going to be like, this guy did this, and you need to figure that stuff out. I think you can go back to crime scenes you've already solved and look at evidence again to be like, okay, this was this guy's name, he was a scholar at this university, and he was doing this, right?
Actually, you can still do like scene like you could have like a nice ending if you wanted to leave it and come back.
Yeah. But Rise of the Golden Idol is a game I never would have intentionally gone out and played. But it's sort of like the Netflix games almost had that Game Pass effect, where I was like, there's no, I already have the Netflix sub, I might as well try out this free game. And the Rise of the Golden Isle is a game I've just found. I'm like, okay, I fucking love this game. This game is really good.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad I tried this one out. And what do you think? Would this be a sort of game that you would play?
Oh yeah, like this is like set to sort of thing. It's like the good part of a point and click without
Yeah,
the
because I've always been scared
awkward
of point and click games because I'm like, I don't want to
Yeah.
do like point and click games back in the day were designed to basically sell instruction guides to make them as obtuse as possible so that people couldn't figure them out and people would have to buy the guides to go along with the games, and they just made no sense. But yeah,
What's the point of the game at that
I
point?
do like puzzles. Like I played the Monkey Island Tall Tale from Sea of Thieves, and I really enjoyed that.
The puzzles are...
Yeah, and it was like I needed to figure out what was going on the island and putting certain items in certain places. Like I liked that stuff in the 3D environment. Maybe I would enjoy like playing like the modern Monkey Island game and giving that a go. Maybe I need to like branch out and play like I've been this year I've been trying to play stuff I wouldn't play. Like I've been playing fighting games. Maybe I should try. I legit haven't played a point and click game in fucking 10, 15 years or something like that, right? Maybe
yeah,
longer.
I've not played the first Monkey Island game, but that seems like it's much more solving puzzles is like not obtuse, or
Yeah.
they are obtuse. You solve it properly.
But yeah, I think that's most of that. I just wanted to quickly. I have played one game of the Bazaar, which is Reynad's new auto battler game. The Twitch streamer who had like an esports org called Tempo Storm, and he was like, "I'm going to make my own game, and it's going to be like this turn-based auto battler thing." And then he went away for like years and years and was making it, and then Hearthstone Dota Auto Chess, Hearthstone Battlegrounds, Super Auto Pets, like everything basically beat him to the market. And I feel like a lot of TFT, for example, a lot of stuff got there quicker. And I feel like even though people are resonating with this game, I know like Kriparian, the big Hearthstone streamer, like I think he exclusively plays the Bazaar now. Like he loved this game. But this is a game I'm gonna have to dive much more deep into. Like the basic gameplay is you basically buy these items like weapons, and then you go through these different phases, like the shop phase, you buy stuff, then you go like a phase where you fight an NPC. And it's essentially set up like there's no turn timers because everybody faces against somebody else's board that they've already built just across the world.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
So when I build my board, I'm already locked in to face against like somebody's ghost, like somebody's board that they've already made. So there's no like waiting around, and there's no like, oh, hurry up, you have to go. You can play at your. It's like Super Auto Pets does this already, and I really like that game. But like, yeah, it's very similar if you know that system. And essentially, what you're doing is you're trying to buy items to build different builds. I essentially was like very overwhelmed with information, and I was like, I don't really understand what's going on at the time. But I found like, I think the character I'm playing is called Vanessa, because you have a hero with certain passives, and I was like, these items have crit. I'm going to increase my crit. I'm going to try and do a crit build, and I'm going to try and figure it out from there. I think like, and positioning of your weapons is important. It's like if this weapon is next to this weapon, then it doubles its damage. So you're like. I love games like I have like 500 hours in Hearthstone Battlegrounds. I love games that are all about like micro decisions and like building stuff on the fly based on what you get randomly sort of thing. I could see myself doing a lot of the Bazaar. I feel like it's definitely a game I would play more if it was on Steam. They have their own like unique launcher which you have to like download from.
Sure.
Which again, I do use Battle.net, but Battle.net has a ton of fucking stuff on it for Hearthstone, whereas I play like WoW and Overwatch and stuff like that on that as well. I guess it's just they're just trying to avoid that 30% tax, right, from Steam, but it definitely would make it a lot easier to update it and play it if I had it on my Steam library instead. But yeah,
that's the thing. Also, like going for margins over player base, right?
I feel like I understand a little bit more about the game because I've seen people play it on Twitch, and I've been like, you know, when you watch somebody play a game and you haven't played the game yourself, and you're like, I'm not really sure what's going on. There are games that you can just watch and you can innately kind of understand what's going on. Like Rocket League, anyone in the world could watch Rocket League and understand what was going on, which makes it a very good, spectator sport, like an esport, or like Counter-Strike. You shoot people and you win the round. Like, that's very easy to understand, right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Whereas if you don't play the Bazaar, like, it's going to be like, for me, it's very confusing to watch the Bazaar because I really don't understand what's going on. But it is a game I want to spend more time playing, and I have had fun. You were saying you liked the art on the board, and I think that's something they've really been inspired by. Was like with Hearthstone boards. Yeah, you would have like stuff you can interact with and play with while you're waiting for stuff. And I love that stuff. I love the interactable boards. Cool. And this game does have really good like UI and art where you can play around with the cosmetic stuff. And I think the main monetization of the game is you buy cosmetic stuff. So there's no like real pay to win in the game. I think you do need to pay for like arena runs. But I was just playing like free to play because I didn't play it for a long time because there was like a closed beta where you could buy a founder pass, which gave you access to the closed beta. But I was like, I'll just wait for it to go into open beta or release, and then I'll try it out because I don't really want to spend money on the game.
I think that makes more sense. So if you're not sure.
But yeah, another game where I just need to play more of it because it's something where you need to commit a bunch more time to kind of understand what's going on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I think that's it, Tony. I think that's every game I wanted to talk about.
Those are all 9.
Yeah. A bunch of indie games I've been playing, and definitely check out a bunch of them if you see something interesting. I think there's definitely stuff I've been playing in there that I've really enjoyed. So, yeah, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.